going on, everybody? This is Chris Martinez from Dynamic Duo Training.
And this is Eric Martinez.
And welcome back to the second installment of How to Look Good Naked, okay? So in this video, we're going to talk about complex carbohydrates over simple carbohydrates, okay? So basically, you have your complex carbohydrates that are a lot of your grains, your potatoes, sweet potatoes, some veggies, stuff like that, okay? Your simple carbohydrates are mostly like your sugary type of carbohydrates, all right? Like candy, sweets, stuff like that, okay? Basically the good stuff, but it's not really good for you, okay? So that's basically what complex carbs versus simple carbohydrates are, okay? So what we're going to start off with is a low, moderate GI versus a high GI, okay? So what's a GI? That stands for Glycemic Index, okay? So what that basically means is whenever you eat a carbohydrate, depending on if it's a high glycemic index or a low glycemic index, it's going to tell you how fast that carbohydrate is going to be broken down into glucose into the bloodstream, okay? With a high glycemic index carbohydrate, it's going to be broken down very fast into the bloodstream, okay? With the low to moderate glycemic index, it's going to be broken down pretty fairly slow, okay? At a moderate pace. So with complex carbohydrates, you have a low to moderate GI, okay? With simple carbohydrates, you have a high glycemic index, okay? So we want to steer more towards the low to moderate glycemic index carbohydrates, okay? Because it breaks down in your bloodstream a lot slower, and it actually has your energy levels sustainable as opposed to a high GI, okay? Next up, we have a high TEF and a low TEF. TEF means thermic effect of food, okay? That basically tells us how hard our body is actually working, breaking down the nutrients when we actually start eating something, okay? So whenever you feel warm or you start sweating after you eat, that means it has a high thermic effect. Okay? It means your body is actually working really hard to digest those nutrients, okay? With complex carbohydrates, they have a high thermic effect, okay? Your body works really hard to break those down. That's a good thing, okay? Because you can actually burn calories while you're doing that. Simple carbohydrates have a low thermic effect in food, okay? They don't take that much energy or work to actually break down in the body, okay? They just get digested quickly.
All right, so let's talk about blood sugar levels when it comes to these high GI or low GI carbohydrates, simple carbs, complex carbs, okay? So before I get into that, you always, in order for your body to function at an optimal rate, and especially your nervous system to function throughout the day, you want to keep your blood sugar levels nice and stable throughout the day, okay? You don't want them to just plummet after most likely taking in a high GI carb that's going to just go right through your body, and your body's going to do no work to break down those nutrients, okay? As opposed to taking in a low to moderate GI carb, I mean, that's going to keep your blood sugar levels nice and stable throughout the day for several hours, okay? And that's going to make you feel better. You're not going to get those hypoglycemic effects much as brain fog, lethargy, low energy levels, just pretty much
hunger pain.
Exactly, just pretty much overall just feeling sluggish throughout the day, okay?
Yeah. And with these graphs right here, you see when you have a low to moderate GI, you get a slow, sustainable rise in blood sugar. When you have a high GI simple carbohydrate, it goes straight up and all of a sudden it plummets down. That's why you feel like crap and lethargic and you get hungry and stuff like that.
Exactly. So always think about keeping your blood sugar levels nice and stable throughout the day. Okay, so our last point, fiber and satiety. These are huge, okay? So last thing you want to do is eat a meal, say, in the morning and then be hungry in the next 1 to 2 hours. I mean, that's something that's not going to work, okay? So by taking in a low to moderate GI carb, you're going to get a higher satiety level. Your satiety levels are going to be much higher as opposed to taking in a high GI carb, okay, throughout the day. And like we said, it's because if you're taking in a low to moderate GI carbs, your body's doing more work to break down all those nutrients throughout several hours of the day, okay? Your blood sugar levels are staying nice and steady and stable throughout the day, as opposed to just getting a huge rise and then plummeting in the next 1 to 2 hours, okay? So always think about, getting some good fiber in with a carb source, and always think satiation levels. You want your satiation levels to be nice and high throughout, in between those meals.
Alright guys, so that is basically our second installment in How to Look Good Naked. So basically you're choosing complex carbohydrates over simple carbohydrates, okay? So some examples potatoes, sweet potatoes, starchy vegetables, black beans, whole wheat tortillas, grains, okay, over the simple and the sugary type of stuff like candy, sweets, donuts, stuff like that, sodas,
energy drinks.
stuff like that, okay? So hope that helps you guys out. Stay tuned for our third installment, which we'll have for you guys next month. For the meantime, visit us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Peace. Let's look good naked.